Welcome to episode 176 of Missing Pieces. This is my weekly audio journal podcast where I sit down and I talk about what I'm up to and what I'm into. That felt good with the episode number in there. That was made possible because last weekend after the previous episode was recorded, but before it was uploaded, I went through all of YouTube and all of Anchor updating episode numbers just to see where we're at. And it turns out that was episode 175 last week, which means that if we've been doing this consistently every single week, we'd be just over 3 years into podcasting. Now, of course, I've missed some weeks, but I also did a series before Missing Pieces that was called Good Morning World or Good Morning Brickitectors. So I'm just going to claim that we're 3.5 years in, but we're keeping the episode numbers just with the Missing Pieces numbers. So we're at 176 this week, and it's awesome. And again, it would have been a shame for this to end, and that was largely the response from you guys last week. You were all very happy that the podcast was continuing, and also happy with the name change back to Missing Pieces, which just feels appropriate. In fact, Mrs. Brickitect, or Cody as she's known in some circles, she said Missing Pieces is the perfect name. So, as much as your guys' opinions matter, when your wife tells you something's perfect, you got to listen to her, because as we all know as husbands, happy wife, happy life. I've learned that. Sometimes the hard way, but we're getting there. So that was last week's victory. I felt like I really made the right decision, especially with the feedback from you guys, and I want to thank you all for that. But this week, I wanted to keep the momentum rolling. I wanted to be like, okay, we did something cool last week and brought something back that everyone loved and really wants. What's another thing that I could do that falls into that same category? And partially inspired by this comment from last week's episode, I did just that. So this is from Megan's Moments, who said, "Thank you for keeping the podcast. Question for Greg's World. Will you be filming some of your day-to-day really boring tasks for videos? Grocery shopping, driving places, making lunch, tending to Mellow Cat, etc. Even though it's just you and no one else with you, we all love that content. Your No Zero Day videos last fall were great, and the ones I enjoyed most were lengthy. My job can be pretty crazy some days, and coming home to a video of someone having a really normal day is nice to unwind to." And first of all, it made me laugh that she said a normal day. I don't know if anything about me is normal. Most would consider abnormal. But yeah, No Zero Days. I loved those videos last fall when I started doing that. It really gave me like a sense of purpose on Greg's World when all of everyone was back to school and all the adventures and fun stopped. And I'm in that same position here. So I thought, how cool would it be to just start documenting things that are happening day to day and just sharing whatever that is. And I always realize that even when you just film like the most boring of things, sometimes that creates great stories and great times for people, especially others that just want to join in on I was going to say the adventure. I guess anything can be an adventure, even just living your normal life, but just seeing what the life of someone else is like. And that's kind of, I think, where the strength of my channel is, just a normal person. Normal. Saying the word normal is a scary thing here, but yeah, just like normal life. I guess I say normal in comparison to some people and how they portray themselves in YouTube, or I guess what the wealth of YouTube can do to people. But yeah, I really wanted to get back into the series, so I did just that. This whole entire week, I have filmed my day-to-day activities. Megan will be thrilled, and I have them all edited, actually. I'm completely up to date. I've actually did a lot of digging myself out this week. When I started this week, I had about 9 or 10 videos from over the summer that needed edited. I've been whittling those down and getting those caught up. And after I do one of those videos that I put out, I also do the No Zeros Day video for that day as well. So eventually, I'm going to be completely up to date when it comes to editing. And also, if I continue uploading videos every single day to Greg's World, I figured that by the end of November, I should be in real time, because right now I'm still 9 or 10 days back. And even if I continue over the weekends, which I should say, one place that I'm going to find some balance in No Zero Days is it's just going to be the behind the scenes of my day-to-day activities during the week, Monday through Friday. And I'm going to try to do a thing that I think normal people do. If we're going to throw the word normal out there again, most normal people have a couple days off each week. So I decided weekends, completely off limits, unless we're doing something of interest or something really comes up. I'm going to try not to film too much during the weekends or try to work on the weekends. I really want that just to be a time where it's just us hanging out, having a good time. And I don't make YouTube and everything that you see in No Zero Days, I don't want to make that a focus. I want that just to be compartmentalized during the week. And then weekends we can have fun, including some gaming, which kind of got back into this week. It's been a while since I actually took some time to game. And this week I decided that I would kind of get back into it, particularly because a game was coming out called Starfield that I wanted to play. It came out for PC like a week ago. And I think Xbox too. You had to buy a premium version if you wanted to play it a week early. It was a way of getting $100 from super fans of this game. If you want to know what this game is, it's a Bethesda game, which Fallout 3 is one of my favorite PlayStation 3 games I ever played. And this is like Fallout in space. And I was interested in trying it. So I waited a week, and it's now available free on Game Pass. So if you have Microsoft Game Pass for Xbox, or I think you can get it for PC as well, you could play this game for free. That you've already paid for it, but you can play it for free. So I started downloading that, and when you know, at the same time I was doing that, I saw this Reddit post that was about this game that this guy played with his 8-year-old daughter. Then they had like this incredible experience together. It's called It Takes Two, and it's one of those games where you're playing together in like a platforming style game, but you have to work together and cooperate to move through the levels. Kind of like Sackboy a little bit, but with way more of a focus on cooperation. And I was like, that would be perfect for Clark, man. Same age, same everything. So I downloaded that as well. And that was the first game that we played. We played that the morning I downloaded it. And Clark loves it. In fact, we played it that evening, and then we played it again today as well. So we're working our way through that. And we just been having a blast with it. Starfield, more of, I would say, an adult game, and more of a single player, absolutely a single player, like just adventure experience where you are creating this character and going through these stories. You have options for how you respond to people when they talk to you. You can go anywhere, do whatever you want eventually. Like, I'm kind of still in the very beginning. And the reason that it's taken me so long just to even progress at all, first of all, you have to make a character, which are big decisions, right? But then after that, after you kind of get into the game, I was going through this building, which is a laboratory. And I remembered why I loved and also hated Fallout. And it was because everywhere you go and everything you look at, you can like pick items up, and everything's assigned a weight and a value. You can only carry so much stuff, but I was looking at things and kind of weighing literally their weight to their value, and I was picking up all kinds of stuff, and I have to look everywhere. I'm like a digital hoarder when it comes to these Bethesda games. So I went through all of this stuff, and I got outside, killed this dude. It is a violent game, by the way. And then I went to leave this place, and they told me I can't fast travel because I had too much stuff on me. So then I had to basically unload all of this stuff that I spent all this time going through this lab, like taking like sculptures off a desk. I'm taking books. I took board games. It was just like, what am I even doing? I'm a digital hoarder. I dropped all this stuff on the ground, and you can just like see it on the ground, and then I was able to leave. But this game has like dogfights in space, and it's just really cool. I don't know how much I want to invest in it, because again, I'm looking at gaming as like an escape and something fun to do. But this game, like, you could put probably 100 hours in and probably still have things to do. And then I'm thinking like, well, I've got all these other things that I could be doing, particularly in the world of Lego, which is where I guess we'll transition to next, that like could actually be productive. Because this week, in addition to bringing back No Zero Days, which is one thing I was doing, I also opened up the brickitect store on eBay. I've been having all this yard sale stuff, which I'm sure I've talked about here and you're well aware of. Bud and Deb and myself, we go out all the time, and sometimes they go out alone and they find Lego stuff for me. And I'm like, okay, great. And some of the stuff I add to my collection, like parts and stuff. But then there's sometimes sets that I already own, sets that I don't really need or want, and they're just too good of a deal, or they came as a part of a lot that you just can't let them go, right? So I was like, I need a place to sell these. I could put them on my regular eBay account, like my personal one, but I've had that account for like 20 years. I have perfect feedback. Everything's good on there. And I like, people keep asking me for like, hey, where can I find your stuff to buy? And I'm like, what if I just made an account specifically for the Lego stuff, and that's where I direct people for those things? Because ultimately, like, even though I buy stuff at yard sales to flip, ultimately, like, the Lego stuff is where I am and where I intend to be in the future. So I made an eBay store just called Brickitect Store. Brickitect was already gone. I had Celitect at one point, but I couldn't use it. Like, I have the email address, and I'm pretty sure I had the eBay account, but like, it wouldn't let me log in. It said you can only use certain letters and characters for your name. And I was like, Celitect is just letters. So I ended up going with Brickitect Store. After doing a community post on my channel, I was like, what should I name this? There was lots of names. Shopitect was another popular one, but I thought Brickitect Store is perfect, right? Because it's like, you want to buy something from me? Go to the Brickitect Store on eBay, Brickitect Store. If you know the name, you know the word store, there you go. So I ended up listing as I was working. I was live streaming a lot of this too, which was cool. And another one of my goals, sharing what I'm doing day to day, also live streaming, keeping the community active and whatnot, I think is really important. And I ended up listing 5 items on there the first day, and I listed I think 2 more things. And so far, I made 2 sales. My most expensive item that I listed sold, which was cool. And then someone bought those Friends minifigures, not Friends dolls, but like Friends TV show. I had all of the minifigs from that except for one, Joey. They apparently took Joey out or kept him. So the set wasn't complete, even though we only paid $10. But someone was gracious enough to buy those for me for $15. So essentially, like, I traded the minifigs for the set, and we're going to part all those pieces into the collection. So that'll be nice to have for mocks and things, because that's ultimately what Clarkman does in Lego. All he does is build his own stuff these days. That's like his favorite thing. So the best thing that I can do as a facilitator of that is to have all of the things well organized and in drawers. That way he can pull them out and build whatever he wants. And I could too. So I think there's going to be a lot of potential here in terms of selling things that I find at yard sales on a deal, or things that I have in my collection already. I have a lot of sets that I have yet to build, and some are worth way more to someone else than they are to me. There's other stuff that I've gotten in the mail, and just things that need cleared out of the storage room of doom. It's like if I took you in there, there's like one pathway to walk in. Everything kind of just needs figured out. I have Lego sets that are in moving boxes that came to our house with us in the end of 2019 that I have not opened or touched. It's been 3.5 years. I don't think those are serving me. And what's our rule? If something's not serving you, it either needs to be donated, sold, traded. Something needs to happen with it. It needs to not be a part of your life if it's not a part of your life. So that's where I'm at on that. I'm also looking at my camera gear and trying to figure out what I want to do there. I really only think that I need one camera, if that. I do most of everything with my phone these days just for the ease of use and the pocketability of it. But I do like to have a nice camera for special things like recording Christmas and stuff like that, and Lego videos. So I'm looking at maybe upgrading my camera, essentially trading like 4 or 5 old cameras that I don't use anymore for one good one, and then just kind of keeping that going where if I get something new, the old one has to go. This is a philosophy I wish I would have started years ago and maintained, because I wouldn't find myself in the place that I'm in now. But it's okay that I am, because now that I'm selling stuff on eBay, it's given me a lot of inventory for my store. And if I just keep listing and keep going, which is the most important thing, is continually listing items, you'll make those sales, which this week was incredible on eBay. Not only with the brickitect store, making those few sales there out of the 5 items I listed, but on my regular eBay account, I had all kinds of sales this week. Every single day I've gone to the post office. Today I was lucky enough just to put the item in the mailbox out front. It was small enough. But that's going well. And every time I get a sale, it's like one less thing that's in my life, which is good. That's money that's coming into the account. And you may ask, what are you going to do with all that money in your account? Or maybe not. You're probably like, well, you're just going to spend it on stuff. Maybe. But what I'm going to do, and what I've been inspired to do from these car guys, these supercar guys that I watch on YouTube, and I don't know if I talked about this here on Missing Pieces or if it was on a live stream, because a lot of this stuff kind of blends between everything. So if I'm repeating myself here, or if you've heard me say this before, I apologize. But it's kind of like the inspiration that I have for my Lego channel in terms of acquiring new sets. So what I'm going to do is anytime that we sell something or list something, it's going into its own separate account now. So I'll be able to keep the money very separate. Before it was just going into my checking, and it was like, well, I wanted it to go into PayPal, but now apparently eBay doesn't really deal with PayPal. In fact, on brickitect's store account, I couldn't like link my PayPal. They're just like, no. So I had to like find a new account to do that with. So all of my eBay sales are going in this one account. What I'm going to do in the world of Lego, like these supercar guys, what they do is they buy an expensive supercar. Obviously not something you can buy dozens and dozens of and keep them in your storage room of doom, although some guys do. What you do is you get it, you have fun with it, you make some videos on it, and then you sell it or trade it to get something else, and you rinse and repeat, essentially. So I thought what would be fun to do is these sales that I'm getting from the Lego stuff, I think some of them are going to be like to my fans, right? They're going to see it and be more likely to buy it than just a general stranger. Especially because like they see me like working on it or building with it. And what I'd like to do is once I get to a certain threshold, I'd like to do a community post that's like, hey, we're at like $100, for example. Is there a Lego set that's $100 that you would like to see me build and share on the channel? And we can do like a vote in terms of like which ones it is. And if there's one that stands out as being pretty popular with the fans, then we'll buy that set. And what I'll do is I'll do the video where we get it, we build it, do live streams, and all the fun stuff that I like to do with Lego. But what I won't do is put it in the storage room of doom after I'm done. Instead, what I'm going to do is put that on eBay and then sell it as a used set, let people know it's for sale. The one that I built, my greasy fingers grace these pieces. Oh, gross. I always wash my hands before I build, by the way. In fact, if you watch my live streams, you've probably seen it. I'm going to sell that on eBay, recoup most of my funds, and then I'm just going to keep doing that. So take that money, even though I'm going to lose a little bit. Hopefully the ad revenue kind of offsets it. Then we'll buy another set and we'll just keep doing that. And, maybe if there's not $100 set, we'll let that, what's that thing that people do? It's like take the money or double it and give it to the next person. We'll do that. So maybe it's a $200 set. And if we hit $200, and I'll even add super chats in there too. I think that'd be kind of fun. Just kind of keeping track of everything and how it goes. And then I can keep getting new sets, enjoying new sets, but not having the burden of collecting the new sets, because I've learned that Lego collecting is not sustainable. It's fine if you want to buy some stuff and own things that are really special to you, things you're going to have on display. But I'm pretty much done with the whole buying Lego sets, building them, breaking them down, and then putting them in the storage room. I don't want to do that anymore. In fact, I think a lot of my old sets, like if they don't have some type of special value to me or a place in my heart, I think I'm just going to start listing those as well and start clearing things out. And keep the sets that are like display pieces or ones that are really like big and special. But do I need Lego City sets from 2015? Do I need to have drawers of those? Probably not. So I could feasibly fill the brickitect store endlessly with Lego sets for years to come, even without buying new stuff, and then just keep rotating it and getting new stuff. And as long as I don't feel compelled to hold on to something, because I know that'll be a temptation when I get this set that people are like, oh, I really want to see whatever set. I'm like, okay, I'll get that. And then I build it and I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I need to remember in my mind, like, what are you going to do with it? Is it just going to sit? Even if it's on display, is it going to sit and just collect dust? Probably. There will be some, though, that I'll make exceptions for. But by far, what I want to do is enjoy every aspect of Lego collecting without the collecting. I want to do builds, I want to make videos, I want to share my experience, and I want to give my opinions on things, but I don't want to store it. And I know I don't know how that comes off as like, if you're a hardcore Lego collector, I'm sure people can relate to it. Like, oh yeah, I'm in the same boat, but some people are like, well, you're not a true collector if you don't actually hold on to things. But in my mind, and what I've seen with myself, just like I was talking about in Fallout games and in Starfield, I find myself as like almost like it's like a disease almost. It's like an affliction where I'm like, I have to look for everything. I have to have everything. Everything has to be in my possession. It's like, does it really though? Is it bringing you any happiness? Is it serving you? This is a trend that's repeating throughout our episodes here. And I know I'm not the only one in this boat. I know lots of peeps that are in the Lego scene just like I am. And we probably are all limited by some of the constraints, and one of them being space, like Starfield, no, different type of space. And I just think I'd be very happy doing things that way, because then it's like we can be on the cutting edge, but then we don't have to worry about the financial repercussions of always buying new sets, but also the storing of those. So if you check off those two things, that's like two of the hurdles, right? Time, space, money, wives. That's like the bonus one. So if you get rid of the space and the money side of things, the wife doesn't care if you're just getting sets and then selling them off. The space doesn't matter. Everything is time. It'd be the only thing, finding the time to build this stuff. But if you're just doing this on like a 1-by-1 basis, so say we get to $200, I'm just throwing that number out arbitrarily. You can barely even buy Lego sets for $200. I'm kidding, but Lego fans can, you can relate. Get $200, order the set. Maybe we can even get a gift with purchase, and I can sell that too. We can really like try to get back to even, build it, enjoy it, let it go. And that's where I'm at. That's my plan. So I think that'll be a really cool thing. So brickitect store should be a fun thing to see. You'll see that in No Zero Days as I kind of navigate the behind the scenes of how things are going there, selling stuff on eBay, and just doing normal life stuff too. So yeah, I'm just like, I feel like I'm hit my stride, I think is the phrase, with Cody and Clark going back to school. I felt a little bit of depression initially, like knowing this year doesn't look anything like last year. There was all this stuff to look forward to. Like this time last year, we were in Ocean City, Maryland right now, and we had Disney coming up. We had Hawaii coming up. We had Italy. We had Punta Cana. I mean, then that kind of came late, but we had all this stuff that was happening, and it just felt like this amazing whirlwind of stuff. But you also have to realize that that's not really sustainable either. You can't, well, if you had enough money and security, I guess, you could potentially live that life forever. But for us, that was like our bucket list year, and it was awesome to do that. But now it's kind of back to normal life and reality, and what I guess would be considered a boring experience. But just like Megan was saying in her comment that we led off the show with, sometimes that kind of stuff and the no 0 days thing is also interesting as well. And I'm actually like, once I got past the fact like this isn't our life anymore, doing all these crazy trips, I'm actually really excited to be doing what I'm doing because I'm an introvert, as I mentioned before, and being in my studio here in this space, working on videos, making videos, doing the Lego thing, getting these eBay sales, which again, I love every aspect of that. I love listing. I love taking photos of it. In fact, I felt a little nerdy during my live stream. I'm taking photos and I'm getting everything just right. I love like seeing people like put offers in and like negotiating those. I love hearing the sound my phone makes when I get an eBay sale. Like I'm doing something random, like cooking steaks on the grill, and it's like cha-ching, you made $32, and you're just like, yes, this is cool. And then, you know, I love packaging things and getting everything all organized. Am I making the case to become a Bricklink seller? Oh gosh, something I never thought I'd want to do, but maybe once all that's gone and all we have are parts. Like ideally, like I'm really at the point, kind of taking this back to the Lego thing, I'm kind of at the point where I wouldn't mind if all I had was just organized Lego parts. And if I didn't have any sets on display, any sets in my collection. But then that's hard to say because there's some stuff that just really means a lot to me. So I don't need, and this is something I'm always learning, I don't need to go into extremes or everything because I do that a lot. It's always all or nothing with me. And it's usually all. So we'll navigate that, figure out our way, and I'll keep reporting back to you on how things are going with it. I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing here as we go into this year. And as for the no 0 days, there's one other thing that I wanted to say about that I forgot to mention earlier. Megan was mentioning the really long videos where it's like 30 minutes of like 6 different days or something like that. I think I'm going to try to make each day just its own contained video. I think it helps with the YouTube algorithm. And it also helps with like people just genuinely seeing it, because if you don't get on YouTube during that 1 hour that my video shows up in your sub feed on like a Saturday, for example, you missed a whole week of content. Whereas if I put these all in a playlist, they can all play automatically. So you'll get to enjoy each of the days in order, but it'll be more visible, I think, to the general audience. And plus it might, if I title these right, and if there's things of it that are like of particular interest to certain people that are maybe outside the community, maybe they come around and they find it through that, and it like is there a gateway in. So I think that'll be a fun way to do it. Some episodes might only be a few minutes long. I don't think that I've cracked, I think the last few were like 8 minutes each or 7 minutes or something, but that's like kind of perfect for people to sit down and watch. We're not into the long form like this is, and we're not into like the shorts. It's just like a happy medium that you could sit down and watch 1, 2, 3, 4 days all in a shot, and I think go pretty well. I also did some other stuff this week too in the world of entertainment. I canceled YouTube TV, the smartest financial move that I've made in a long time. I got YouTube TV a while back. I forget what it was. We were trying to watch something on TV, and I was like, well, our cable's absolutely ridiculous. So I was like, let's just try YouTube TV. But then they started cranking the heat up on it, and YouTube's been doing a lot of things lately. In fact, I just got an email, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about how they are absolutely going wild with ads now. They are trying to override your creator imposed ad breaks. So like Missing Pieces, for example, I don't like mid-roll ads in it. YouTube, I guess, is going to have the right or the option then to override that and start putting mid-roll ads in. And the last time that happened, by mistake, I left them on. They put 19 ad breaks in this show. I don't know whether people saw every one of them, but imagine trying to listen to an hour-long podcast where you're having like an authentic conversation like this and being interrupted 19 times. How many people are going to sit through that? But they had these statistics like if we put all these ads in here, creators have seen a 5% increase in their revenue with only a 1% decrease in their viewership. They also, and the thing that really struck me was they want to put automated ads in live streams now, which I'm not even sure how that would work. Like while it's live, like I'd be sitting here, like imagine this is a live stream and all of a sudden this thing comes up. It's like ad. I don't like, do I just sit here and wait for the ad to be over? Does everyone see the ad? Do I just keep going and then you hit an ad and then you lose like 2 minutes or whatever I'm doing? It sounds awful, but it's, I think one of those things where YouTube's desperate for money. I've been seeing videos about how a lot of the ads that people are seeing, I can't vouch for this because I have YouTube Premium. I don't think I could live with YouTube without that because of how crazy it is with ads. But a lot of the ads now are like scam ads and like just really non-focused ads that have nothing to do with you. Like they're just terrible things is what I'm hearing. And you can attest to that or not. But it seems like YouTube's getting desperate. And I think it could be because the economy is on the cusp of a recession. And I know for a fact that the first thing that companies pull when things are getting bad and they need to tighten their belts is advertising. It's the easiest thing to cut. So when advertisers start cutting back on their ads, YouTube has more inventory of ads than they have ad spots to fill, or they have more spots than they have ads for. So then they start getting desperate and they start showing a lot of the repeat stuff and just crap. So that's a little concerning when YouTube ad revenue is your like source of revenue or your income. But I guess that's just the way it goes, right? So that being said, YouTube Premium is something I absolutely live with. I pay more for YouTube Premium than I pay for Netflix, which is crazy. But I also use YouTube Premium like 30 times more than I use Netflix. So value for value, it works its way out. But YouTube TV, it's just something we weren't using at all. And I canceled it. It was like $70 a month, just like instantly found money. So that was a good financial move. But while we're not watching YouTube, we are watching shows. And this week started a show that I absolutely love. It's called One Piece. It's based on a manga series and also an anime series of this guy named Monkey D. Luffy. And he is looking for this treasure called the One Piece. And it's a pirate show. And it's completely wacky. It sounds as crazy as it is. And I saw the trailer for this and I was like, this looks really cool and interesting. So I sat down and started watching it by myself. And I watched like 2 minutes of it. And I'm like, I got to stop watching this because Clark's going to love this. So I was like, Clark, man, we got to watch this. So we came down here, put it on the big screen and stuff. And it's been an absolute hit with both of us. We're now 6 episodes in. We've got 2 episodes left till it's over, which is really sad because it's so much fun. It feels like a video game. It feels like anime, but also a video game. There's like these crazy characters, crazy bosses that they fight. And I'm just loving every minute of it. Clark's fully invested. He knows all the characters. He's going all in on this. And I'm like so excited to finish the series, but so sad because I read today that season 2 is written and ready to go, but it's going to take 12 to 18 months for them to like make this. And the problem is there's a writer's strike and actor's strike going on right now. So it's going to be 12 to 18 months after the strike's over. So we're looking at, say that lasts 6 months, which it may, we're looking at 2 years before we see this again. So Clarkman will be like 10 years old before we can continue with the live action One Piece. So we've decided that we're going to go through and watch all of the anime shows. And I think like, I don't know, I think there's like hundreds of episodes of the original like manga. And yeah, it's just really cool. It's just captivated me. And I love it so much. And I can't explain it. And I'm hesitant, though, to recommend it to anyone because it's so darn weird that you're going to be like, Greg, what were you smoking, dude? Like, this show is off its rockers. But I'm telling you, if you love characters and, like, just the beauty and the way that things are filmed, you're going to love the show. It's on Netflix. You probably already have Netflix based on, like, the law of averages or whatever. The probability of you having Netflix is high. So give it a watch if you want to check it out. And if you don't like it after the first episode, you're not going to like it going forward after that. So just watch that one. We're also watching another show that maybe you watch if you're a Star Wars detector, and that's called Ahsoka. We've watched 1 episode of that. Cody wasn't loving it. and it was weird because as a female, you think like she would like it because it's really focused on females, but she thought that was like almost like a distraction. She thought maybe it was a little too try hard for like the female audience and like the female Star Wars peeps. But I think the show, like after watching the first episode, I'm into that, and we're going to continue watching that and kind of seeing how it goes and pans out. I've heard really good things about it, so I'm excited to watch that. So like we've got gaming kind of coming back now that summer's over. We've got shows coming back. I'm always looking for new recommendations too, although I'm hesitant to say that because that'll be all the comments we get. I'm going to see if I can find any other things that are like One Piece that Clark and I can watch. He's kind of into the anime scene. He watched all of the Pokemon stuff that's on Netflix. I don't know if I want to get into all that. One Piece definitely is more up my alley, I feel like, but when I watched like the cartoon version, because we watched a bit of the first episode of the animated One Piece just to see how faithful the new live action one is, and it's like spot on, but the animation is crazy, so it's cool, and I'm excited to kind of continue on with this, and we're going to keep seeking new things out and trying things. I think we're going to end up beating It Takes Two this weekend, I would assume, based on how fast we're moving through the game. So I'm going to be looking for something else that Clark and I can play kind of like couch co-op. I remember years ago we tried playing the game Moving Out. It's sort of like Overcooked, where you have to work together to kind of clear out a house. So we might go back into trying that again. That game, though, unlike It Takes Two, that game tests your relationships and you get really fired up. So my biggest challenge in playing a game like Moving Out or Overcooked is to remain calm and don't become like the dictator and just be like, let's like stay positive. Let's work together. I'm not going to yell. We're just going to play. Speaking of that, my brother-in-law, I remember my nephews were playing Overcooked. You know, it's like a cooking game where the two of you need to work together to make these dishes. The only way it works is if you work together. And my brother-in-law is not even playing. He's watching. He's like screaming out orders for each of them to do. I was like, dude, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy. So yeah, we got some things to play, and I'm like excited for the world of entertainment. I've been really getting into being in the theater here and enjoying all of the nighttime watching activities that we've been getting into. But one other update about being down here, the carpet scenario or situation. I mentioned Roxy had a bit of an accident a couple weeks ago, and it was a disaster down here. And we've had the carpet cleaning guys. They've come back like 3 or 4 times to keep cleaning it because it's like it just kept needing done. There, you could smell that there were still issues there. I'm happy to announce that this week they came for the final time, and everything is back to perfect again. So my godlike carpet is back to being godlike with no issues. I just thought I'd throw that in there in case anyone was curious. It'll make it into the No 0 Days video, but that's all taken care of as well. And I guess that's it for this week. That's all the stuff I got into and up to. This coming week, I'm recording this on Friday, September 8th at 1:27 p.m., by the way, back to my Friday routine. Trying not to have this carry over to the weekends either. We would like to go to the flea market tomorrow or Sunday, but the weather is not looking good. It's kind of like it might rain, it might not rain, so that'll really depend on that. I would like to go there to see if I can find any cool Lego stuff, which is usually unlikely. Most times the flea market people, they want like top dollar for everything, so there's never anything there that you see that's like, wow, that was a steal, although it's possible. I'd like to do that and then do the food and stuff that they have there. But the other thing, other than the weather, is Clark Man is not feeling great. I knew it was coming because he's back in school now. And I was like, how many days will it be until he starts getting a cold or getting sick? And last night he came home and he was sniffling and said he used a bunch of tissues. So I'm like, well, there you go. He made it to September 7th before he got sick. He only had 3 days of school this week and I think 4 days last week. So it took him 7 school days to start getting sick. Even with like Cody gives him all kinds of immune stuff too. She's like totally into that, and every day he takes these things. It's almost impossible to not get sick in elementary schools. So we'll see how this weekend goes. It might be us having great adventures out there and you might see a flea market video, or it might be us playing It Takes Two and watching the end of One Piece and just hanging out at home, which I'd be okay with. I'm totally fine with that. And I'm sure those guys having to go out every single day and go to school and spend all their time, maybe they just want to be home too and enjoy that. So we'll see how it goes, but you'll find out about that next week and then later on in videos until I get caught up. So there's that. We'll go into listener feedback next. There was a few comments that were outside the world of just glad that the podcast is back and liking the name and how much like this podcast means. I don't really want to toot my own horn, so we'll do it anyway. This is from Brickinator, who says, happy to see the podcast continue. The shorts not bringing much subscribers is unfortunate, but with the whole nature of the platform, I think people don't really take time to check out what other stuff a person does. Maybe it's just me, but YT shorts and TikTok often implies laziness to me. Not from the creator's end, but from the viewers. The fact that they're vertical videos makes me feel like people are too lazy to turn their phones by 90 degrees. I'm definitely very biased in favor of horizontal videos, though. You mentioned people not staying for long in the LEGO space, which makes sense since people are often only in LEGO world as a child. I've been here for nearly 4 years now, but there's some periods when I lost interest. But brickitect is always a channel I return to. Keep up the great work, Greg. Well, thank you. And I agree with you. I think a lot of the TikTok and YouTube short situation is you basically shut your brain off and you become like video flicking zombie where you watch something, and if that thing doesn't entertain you for 1 second, probably less, you are on to the next thing. I think it would take something special or a special person for you to watch to be like, oh, I really like this. I'm going to follow or I'm going to subscribe or whatever. I think most people are just generally flipping through their like For You page or whatever you want to call it on YouTube, and they're just moving through their day. So it does make sense. I also feel like in addition to that, you can't really make a connection with people on short form content that you can make on regular videos or long form, like really long form like this. But it is a great way to introduce yourself to new people. And I do think it makes sense to kind of spread yourself out. Again, it doesn't have to be an all or nothing type thing. It can be a little bit of everything. And some days I've had situations where I've been like, well, I just want to share this thing really quick, and it is less than a minute. So do it vertically, share it as a short, people watch it. It gets as many views as the normal videos do, and they can decide to watch it or not. But yeah, I've noticed that the long form people, there's a lot of disdain for like short form content from a lot of people, that particularly people that like this kind of content. I'm the type of person that can go between all, but I would much rather sit and like be a part of somebody's like experience or really enjoy their content than just flip through 7 videos that they made in the last 2 days of like 30-second clips. I mean, I think that works for some people, and like maybe you have a break at work, you have 10 minutes, you just want to get as much in as you can. But I like the stuff, and the people I like the most are the people that make really long videos, and I can just like join in. But yeah, I agree. Thank you for the comment. Next one comes from Foxy HY. Says, the changes you made are great, although the 30-minute time limit isn't as good. I like to watch the pods and sections throughout my week, and 30 minutes does not make that easy. But if it makes your life easier, then do it, man. All the best. This one I wanted to put in because I think he's confused. I said I'm putting a 30-minute time limit on live streams, ideally. I've gone over that just to not get burnt out. But I think instead of live streaming 30 minutes every day, like going all in type thing, I'm going to stream when I feel like it or when it's appropriate, and stream for as long as I want to during that time. So instead of doing 30 throughout the week, there might be one like on Wednesday that's an hour and a half, and like that's just it. It's really hard for me with all the things that I'm doing and getting into to like dictate a certain time or place that something's going to happen. So it's just whenever's convenient for me. But the podcast is as long as it needs to be. This podcast could be 10 minutes long. It could be an hour and a half long. It just is what it is. So don't worry about that. And you can listen to it however you need to, especially as a podcast, because you can just pause it whenever you want and then come back. That's the beauty of podcasts. Next one comes from Canadian Guy. This is the funny comment of the week. He says, hey, Greg, I'm going off the board and bring up your addiction to the claw machine game. I thought he was going to call me out on this, but no, it's a funny story. He says, I just watched the OC video of you guys at Marty's. Man, watching you feed that machine remind me of an incident at a casino I work at. Long story short, a guy spent thousands in a group of 4 machines trying to win the $2 million jackpot. One of his machines ran out of his credits, and the lady slipped in with a $10 and won the millions. No joke. There was an investigation into make sure it was not his credits was conducted. Moral of the story, make sure you don't let your credits run out, or just know it is random, just like those claw machines. Sorry for the long comment. Just thought you'd like to hear about that, and know you're not alone. Yeah, dude, those claw machines, I'm okay with them being rigged. Like, I understand the way that it works is like you only get one good pull out of so many, and maybe there's magnets in there that work better or worse or whatever the case is. But I feel like they should have to publish somewhere on the machine the odds or the probability of winning. I don't know if that's that way in casinos or not, but like I want to know what I'm getting into. Is it 1 out of every 100 pulls is a strong pull? Because if that's the case, I'm not even going to bother playing. Is it 1 out of every 20? Because I'll say at Knoebels, Like, those machines are empty by the end of the day. I think they have them set so people actually win because they want people to win. They want people to be happy there. Casinos, they just want to keep you pumping money. They want to keep you happy enough that you keep pumping money in there. Marty's, I think, was super stingy too. But Knoebels is definitely a better claw machine. I just love playing claw machines. And I actually looked into getting one of my own just for fun. I thought, man, we'll put all Clark's plushes in there and just win them all the time. But it was $2,000 for one. So I ruled that out fairly quickly. If anyone has a lead on a used claw machine or knows someone that would love to sponsor a Greg's World video where they send us a claw machine, tell them to hit me up, because I would love, we could put it right there in the background and we could end every live stream with me trying to get a grab out of there. And I would put it like, I guess that's the only thing that I have against claw machines. I like skill-based games, and it's not really skill-based other than getting like the claw onto something, which isn't that hard to do. It's more of just like, oops, not a strong pull, and that frustrates me. But when you're out there and you're spending money, you want to win. So maybe it's one of those things that is better to play at a location like that as opposed to an arcade machine like that, like a cabinet that you'd just be pumping quarters in, and I can sit here and play Mortal Kombat for the next 2 hours for no money. So that, I guess that's the thing. But thank you for the story. I feel bad for that guy. It kind of happened to me. Like, I was playing the machine at Knoebels and Pap stepped in when I walked away and he played. I was like, don't you dare win. Anyways, that was, I think I'm done with claw machines, at least for now. Last and final comment, very nice comment of the week comes from Sotos. DT Ace says, those little things are the best in life. Spending time with your family, friends, or loved ones, and the memories you'll have from it will be precious and always cherished. And I am so happy you decided to keep Missing Pieces. For me, these videos are a haven, an arboresque of pictures and adventures, filling our life with joy and happiness, and always something to look forward to from a beloved guy who takes life in his hands and squeezes the juice from every single day like a lemon. All the best to you, Greg, Cody, and of course the Clark Man. And as always, I'll be finding you in the next Missing Pieces. Wow, what an outro. It could easily be the most well-crafted comment we've ever received. This man is a wordsmith. An arboresque? Am I going to have to look that up? What is an arboresque? An arboresque? Look up arboresque. It's a posture in which the body is supported on one leg with the other leg extended horizontally backward. An ornamental design consisting of intertwined flowing lines originally found in Arabic or Moorish decoration. This man is a genius. He's using big words on me here. The message doesn't change, though. And it's kind of what the whole No Zero Days thing is. It's just a little collection of these small moments. And I said this in like the return episode. Sometimes these small moments create big things. And if I can create something that people can enjoy and join me on, and they can be a part of my normal life, a normal day in a life, I guess, normal to me, I think that's an awesome thing. So I'm excited to be doing that. So if you are a fan of Missing Pieces, which I would say that you are if you're this deep into it, it's something for you to tune into on, I guess, a daily basis, just to see like, what was my day yesterday? Oh, he edited videos. Oh, Clark Man went to school. Oh, he fed the dog. It's like silly stuff, but it's like, you know what? Such is life. That's the way life is. So on that, I hope you enjoyed the episode. And as Soto said, we'll find you in the next Missing Pieces.